What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, and we're here today to talk about Week 13. That was the NFL football season. And then we're going to start and we're going to preview Week 14, the last week of the fantasy football regular season, before we get to the playoffs and there's no more losing. It only matters if you win. You got to win that championship, set that perfect lineup, and take all the glory, the money, and if your league has a trophy, take it all from the league mates and show them who's boss. But first, we got to get to the playoffs, and let's get through this week. But first, you guys know how we always do it here. We're going to go through the chat. We're going to go through the Week 13. I'll give you some fantasy football start sits, some waiver wire pickups, all of that, and then we'll talk about the following week. So let's get to that chat and let's see who is here. J-Dog said, why so early? Well, I was going to do the show tomorrow, the fantasy football show, but I ended up having and not realizing I have a couple of doctor's appointments tomorrow, so I will not be able to be doing a live stream tomorrow, and I wouldn't be able to be going live till like 7 or 8 o'clock. So I figured let's just do a doubleheader here today, and then we'll take tomorrow off, and I don't got to worry about, all that stuff. But today we got the time, so I figured let's do it a day early. Plus, waiver wires, you can still put waivers in, all of that good stuff for the fantasy. So that's why we did it early today. Early today, and that's why we did it a day early. What's up, J-Dub? I went 12-2 this week. Hell yeah, you love to see it. Let's just say Christian McCaffrey is out for the season. 6 weeks, come on. They ain't making the playoffs. I mean, I don't know, man. The 49ers are a disaster is what is going on here. 49ers need to figure out. Oh, I didn't read that one. The Jets keep blowing the lead, and I think Aaron Rodgers won't return next season. What if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Vikings? He's going to pull the biggest Brett Favre of the world. Lamar has had a step down from MVP conversation, but he's played like himself at just the way these games go. I mean, we saw how the game went like yesterday. I mean, the game turned into a really good football game, but it just did not go the way that the Browns wanted it to go, and the Broncos went on to win the game. All right, we're going to do this because close to the playoffs. Name the top 5 teams in order. I'd say Lions, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, Steelers. That's my order. I think Eagles playing better than the Bills. Then Bills, not me being biased. Well, I mean, after what we saw Josh Allen do on Sunday, I don't know if we could really say the Eagles are better than the Bills because Josh Allen had a receiving touchdown, a passing touchdown, and he is just insane. And he had a rushing touchdown. So if we're going to say the top 5, and I will give you that top 5 once we go over the playoff picture, because I do have the playoff picture. If the season ended today, when I get to that, I will give you my top 5. How was my Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was great, other than my football team playing like trash. And speaking of stuff that happened the past week, I mean, that play call was ridiculous. But Matt Eberflus is gone. Thomas Brown is the interim head coach. And now the Bears go play a reeling 49ers team that needs a win. And we'll see what happens. Lions-Packers, Thursday should be a good game. Yes, it should be. Who you think should be MVP right now, Barkley or Allen? I mean, as you said, there has not been a running back to win MVP in a while. So maybe Barkley right now. I mean, I think Barkley, just because the way he's playing and how consistent he's been, he said the boring part. Why don't you? Well, that's okay. You say the waiver wire because you don't play fantasy football. If you played fantasy football, waiver wire would be very, very important to you. But before we get to the waiver wire, let's talk about Week 13, and let's talk about what happened this past week. As J-Dog helped me out, as we went 12-2 this past week, and we'll talk about all the games as we always do. As we had on Thursday, we had 3 games as it was Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If you did not have, and if you were whatever you may be doing with the family, celebrating all that good stuff. The Bears played the Lions, and it did not go as the Bears hoped. The Bears came back after being down 16-0 at halftime. Caleb Williams had a really good second half, but clock management, timeouts not being used, and a coach that didn't know what the hell he was doing. The Bears lost in an awful ending to the game as the time ran out with the timeout, and they were in field goal range before that sack. As They lost 23-20 as the Lions continue to win. We saw a decent game. I thought it was going to be a bad game, but we saw a decent game on Thursday afternoon as the Cowboys beat the Giants 27-20. Drew Lock didn't look too bad, and Cooper Rush does what Cooper Rush does. Thursday night, we had the Dolphins. We had the Green Bay Fudge Packers. The Packers did what the Packers always do, and the Dolphins didn't know how to play in Wisconsin weather as they forgot that they weren't in Miami in that nice heat weather that they all love to see and all that good stuff. But the Packers did what they had to do, and they won on Thursday night. And then on Friday, Black Friday, we had the Chiefs and the Vegas Raiders. Man, I could get used to having football on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. That would be lit. But Black Friday football, it wasn't a bad game. The Chiefs only won 19-17 as the Vegas Raiders also kind of did what the Bears did. They just didn't get the opportunity to kick that field goal. But it was still a really good game. Now on Sunday, we had some really good games and some matchups that, I thought would be really interesting. We saw the Colts win after a last-second touchdown and a last-second two-point conversion to go over the New England Patriots 25-24. Anthony Richardson had himself a decent game. We did see Josh Downs not play. And Alec Pierce, I almost said Anthony Pierce. Alec Pierce didn't have like a great game, but he still went out there and did what he had to do. Jonathan Taylor had a receiving touchdown and had 15-plus points, so I'll take it all day long. Now, honestly, might be the best game of the week, and that was the Steelers and the Bengals. Well, I guess for fantasy purposes, at least. It was 44-38. Joe Burrow had a couple touchdowns. Jamar Chase had a touchdown. Chase Brown had a couple touchdowns. The Steelers did what they had to do. They got their win. Russell Wilson threw for over 350 yards. I think he had 4 touchdowns. Najee Harris, welcome back to the NFL, my guy. And he did what he had to do. Now, Kirk Cousins is gone. Kurt Chains is gone as the Falcons can't do anything, right, as they lost to the Chargers. 17-13. Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey had himself a day, and the Chargers won 17-13. The Seahawks and the Jets, maybe one of the best games of the week, is the Seahawks won 26-20 or 26-21, as Aaron Rodgers, as me and J-Dog were just mentioning and just talking about. The Jets cannot do anything right, and the Jets cannot, I don't know what the Jets are going to do anymore. But it could be, and we very well could see a one and done for the Aaron Rodgers New York Jets. Houston Texans got themselves a win as Trevor Lawrence got popped in the head, and hopefully he is okay. He did say he is okay and everything else like that, but it doesn't look like he will play this week. But that was a scary hit, and the guy that did it, he will be suspended 3 games. The Houston Texans win the game 23-20. As they try to continue to do what they need to do to try to make that playoff push. Cardinals lost by 1 point to the Minnesota Vikings, 23-22, in a very good game. Again, a lot of these games were very, very good all week, and it was fun to watch these games. But the Vikings got the win, and they continue their dominance and try to stay ahead of the Lions in that crazy NFC North. The Commanders put a spanking on the Tennessee Titans. The Titans couldn't do anything offensively. Tony Pollard fumbled a few times. Will Levis just kept getting sacked, and Brian Robinson had himself a touchdown. Scary Terry McLaurin had over 20 points. He had 2 touchdowns and just went off. Zach Ertz had a touchdown, and Jaden Daniels had himself a day. So, Commanders win 42-19. Buccaneers win against the Panthers in overtime as the kicker for the Buccaneers missed the field goal, and then he made the field goal in overtime to win it for them, but they squeaked by against the Panthers. But Bryce Young, maybe trying to finally figure out how to learn how to play some football. Because the last 3-4 weeks, this man's actually been doing very well. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Saints 21-14. We did see Taysom Hill leave the game, and he will be out for the season as he tears his ACL. Taysom Hill get better. Looks like we will not be able to use him at tight end anymore. So hopefully if you do, hopefully you have an option at tight end. But if you don't, we'll talk about some tight ends in a little bit, especially maybe for like the Rams or the Chargers. Speaking of LA teams, maybe go get yourself some I guess he's on Seattle, so never mind on that one. But Will Dissly for the Seahawks, guys, could be a tight end if you want to look at it. I was going to mention him when I talked about the Seattle game, but not the Rams. I'm sorry. Seattle, Will Dissly. If you need a tight end, I'd go and possibly try to go and get him. We had on Sunday, we had the Eagles and the Ravens as it was a very good game, but Saquon Barkley did what he had to do, had himself a day. And the Eagles won 24-19 to take down Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in Baltimore. As Lamar, he had an okay game. Wasn't anything crazy, but, he did what he had to do to get through the game. But the Ravens will need to bounce back this upcoming week. But the Eagles got their win, and they needed what they had. They did what they needed to do. Sunday Night Football in a blizzard on Sunday, as it was. The Bills just doing their thing. Josh Allen got engaged this past weekend. Congratulations to him and Haley Steinfeld. But he went out there, as I said earlier, he had a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown. Yes, I said that. And he had a passing touchdown. He does it all. Josh Allen does his thing. As it was 35-10, as the 49ers could not, as just like I said with the Dolphins, they don't know what to do when they ain't playing in Santa Clara and that nice warm weather in California. But 49ers need to figure it out as they go face the Chicago Bears this upcoming week. And for two teams that are struggling, one's got to get a win, right? And then on Monday night last night, we saw a really good football game, again, in fantasy purposes, as they put up 73 points combined. It was 41-32. The Broncos defense had a couple interception returns for touchdowns. Bo Nix had himself a touchdown. It was a good day. Jameis Winston had 4 touchdowns. So if you did start Jameis Winston in a bind, whatever it may have been, you may have benefited from all of that. But that is week number 13 of the football, fantasy football, and football season. Now, as I said, let's go through the playoffs as of right now. And this is what the playoffs would be looking like if the season were to end today. We would have the Chiefs and Lions at the first seed. In the AFC, we would have the Broncos taking on the Bills, the Ravens taking on the Steelers, and the Chargers taking on the Texans. We got the Colts, Dolphins, and Bengals in the hunt. And then in the NFC, we got the Lions. We would have the Commanders and the Eagles in the divisional showdown. We would have the Seahawks and the Packers in a first-round matchup. And then we would have the Vikings and the Falcons. That's crazy. The Falcons are the 4th seed right now. Who would have thought? And then in the hunt, we got the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers. So, J-Dog, you asked me, Mike, the question earlier. What 5 teams do I think is the best in the NFL playoffs as of right now? Well, obviously, I think 1 and 2 will obviously go to the Chiefs and Lions because they are the number 1, 2. They are number 1 and 2 in the league, obviously. So I'm going to say that. Now, number 3, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I'll say the Buffalo Bills, just the way Josh Allen and everything else is playing like that. I think that is really good. And number 4, I'd probably go the Philadelphia Eagles just because I think, obviously, the Eagles are the 2nd seed. But I also think that in the NFC, they could beat any of the teams in there. And I think the Eagles and the Lions in an NFC championship game would be really good. Now, for the 5th team, this is where it gets a little tricky and this is where it gets a little interesting. But I think you'd be surprised. And I don't know if you did say them. You might have. But I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers in number 5. And you may have said the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the way that defense is playing, the way Russell Wilson is playing, the way Mike Tomlin does this with teams every year, it's just ridiculous. Did you guys know, and I said it last year too, that Mike Tomlin has never had a season or a record of a losing record ever in his career as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Always finds a way, no matter who's on that team, to make the playoffs. And as of right now, that's what these playoffs would be. So as I said, my top 5 right now are Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Eagles, and Ravens, and Steelers, I should say, at my top 5. And those are the teams, like I said, obviously a lot could happen within the next few weeks. And we'll take a look at it now every week just to see what happens and everything. But that is what is going on right now in the NFL. We'll have to wait and see, though. It should be fun. Now let's get to the waiver wire pickups, the fantasy football, all that good stuff. And then we will preview week number 14. Now, these are guys available in 50% of leagues. If you need them, I'd go and get them. Let's start at number 10. Let's start with Ray Davis. Ray Davis, obviously, we've talked about him. James Cook playing in the snow and everything. We did see Jordan Mason and Christian McCaffrey be out and be put on IR this past week. And, it's never bad to have some of these guys to, handcuff. I mentioned it last week. This is the time that you got to start handcuffing your guys. Zach Charbonnet, just like I said, just like with Ray Davis, if something does happen to Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet becomes a really good option in fantasy football. Brandon Cooks, Brandon Cooks has been in our life since 2012. But he's still here. And if you need a wide receiver, he might not be a bad option, especially this week with 6 teams on a bye. Will Dissly, tight end, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Will Dissly, you never cannot go with a tight end. MVS is that touchdown machine, it seems like, in the Saints. So if you do need a wide receiver, maybe go out and see if you could get him. Nick Westbrook possibly is another one, as I said. He has not, Will Levis is not the greatest quarterback of all time, but, Nick Westbrook continues to put up touchdowns and he continues to do what he needs to do, and that's sometimes that's all we can ask for. Parker Washington needs to, and he's a guy with as obviously with Trevor Lawrence now possibly being out. It seems like Mac Jones and Parker Washington have a very decent connection. So, as I said, need wide receiver, 6 teams on a bye, go and get it. Elijah Moore had a really good game last week. Jameis Winston had over 400 yards, and he had to throw it to somebody. He threw it to Jerry Jeudy, threw it to David Njoku, he threw it to Nick Chubb, and he also threw it to Elijah Moore. So if you need a wide receiver, go get yourself some Elijah Moore. Adam Thielen is another guy. He's never leaving our lives, just like Brandon Cooks. At some point until he retires, Adam Thielen is always going to be in our fantasy football lives. So if he's on the waiver wire somehow, and if somebody gave up on him earlier this season, go see if you can go and get him for an early cheap price. Isaac Guerrero. Guerrero. He is going to probably be the number 1 waiver wire pickup in every fantasy league, as we saw with Christian McCaffrey being out and with Christian McCaffrey going and being put on IR and with Jordan Mason being put on IR. I think that this is a big opportunity for him. And if you are able to get him, I think he is a really good flex option this week with them not having either one of those guys. And as you guys know, and if you guys watch Bears games with me, the Bears run defense is one of the worst in the NFL. And Isaac probably going to have 3 rushing touchdowns. So if you can get Isaac in your lineup somehow, find a way and do it, because I bet you he'll have a couple touchdowns against the Chicago Bears. But now, let's get to week number 14, and let's preview these games. I will get to all of the chats in a minute. Let's see if we got any other ones right now. No, we do not, but we will get to all your comments after here and after we get through week 14. So continue to leave them. Continue to leave all your whatever you got for me, and I'm here for you. If you want any questions answered, we're going to do our best to help you set that perfect lineup. As I said, guys, it's the last week of the fantasy football season, regular season, that is. So if you need to get that win to get into the playoffs. And now let's talk about week 14. That is going to be coming up this week and starting on Thursday. And it starts with those Green Bay Fudge Packers as they take on the Detroit Lions on Thursday Night Football. And until the Lions lose a football game, I'm not going up against the Lions. So I'm going to say it's a really good game, but I'm going to say the Lions win by a score of 31-28. We got a divisional matchup with the Steelers and the Browns. And last time we saw this a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football, the Browns pulled up off the upset. If I'm not mistaken, it was 24-19 against the Steelers, as Nick Chubb had himself a couple touchdowns. And it was a good day for the Browns. Now they're in Pittsburgh. As I just mentioned, top 5 teams. I think Pittsburgh's right there. Jameis Winston has had a really good few games and everything. But I do believe that the Steelers will get their comeuppance, and they will get their comeback, and they will get their win. And they're going to win it by a score of 27-24 over the Browns. And I'm going to say Russell Wilson has himself 3 touchdowns. The Saints and the Giants, I'm going to say the Saints win this, and this game might be the worst game of the week. Maybe. Or maybe the Giants do show up. But I'm going to say the Giants lose 35-10, and the Saints just have themselves a field day against the Giants. We got the Jets and the Dolphins. I want to say the Jets are going to win this somehow, but I'm not going to, because, as I said with the Lions, until they prove that they lose a game, I'm not going against them. And until the Jets prove that they can win a game, I'm not taking them to win these games. But let's say the Dolphins win this, and let's say it's a score of 27-24, and the Dolphins get the dub. We have the Jaguars taking on the Titans, and this might be another, again, it's a divisional matchup. But 2 teams that really aren't going anywhere, and more or less if you just have guys like Evan Ingram, Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, Nick Westbrook, as I just mentioned, and that's probably why you're watching this game. This might be the game that I probably watch the least of. It's either going to be very high scoring or very low scoring. I'm going to say the final score is 17-14, and I'm going to say the Jaguars win by a field goal. But probably the game I'm very least confident in, and the game I'm really not that excited to watch this upcoming week. We got the Falcons and the Vikings. Vikings going to win this game. Kirk Cousins can't do anything. And maybe it is a revenge game for Kirk Cousins, so maybe he goes out there and slings it in his old home, and he has 4 touchdowns and the Falcons win. But as I said with the Lions, until the Lions can win a game or lose a game, I'm not going up against them. And just like with the Vikings, they just continue to find ways to win. And I'm going to take them to win this by a score of 35-28. Now we got the Panthers and the Eagles. I'm going to say this is the biggest upset of the week, and I'm going to say the Panthers defeat the Eagles. No. I think that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to win. Saquon Barkley is going to have 2 touchdowns, probably 200 yards, and he's going to have a field day against the Panthers. I will say the Panthers, have a decent couple drives. Maybe they do keep up for a little bit. But I do believe that at some point in the game, I think they're going to get a little tired, and I think the Eagles are just going to start running all over the place. Now we got the Raiders and the Buccaneers. Raiders, they lost Gardner Minshew. We got Aiden O'Connell. And, he hasn't done bad, especially for Jacoby Myers. Brock Bowers continues to do his thing. But real life football, I'm going to say the Buccaneers win this game by a score of 35-20. And I'm going to say the Buccaneers just go out there and put a charge into the Raiders. We got a divisional matchup with the Seahawks and the Cardinals. These games are always really interesting, and these games always go in different types of ways. I'm going to say the Cardinals win, but I'm going to say it's a score of 28-27. And I think it's a game kind of like the Cardinals had with the Vikings this past week, but the Cardinals get the win over the Seahawks. We got the Bills and the Rams. 3 o'clock football. It's going to be a good one. Bills and Rams, Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen. Josh Allen will be playing in the snow because they got a dome in SoFi in Los Angeles. So he'll probably have like 6 rushing touchdowns, 10 passing touchdowns, and just go berserk. But either way, I think it's going to be a good game. But I am going to take the Bills to win this by a score of 38-21. And I just think that Josh Allen's going to continue to do what he's going to do. Now we got the other 4 o'clock game. It's the 49ers, Brock Purdy and George Kittle, as they take on the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams and DeAndre Swift. 49ers have not been playing very good football. The Bears cannot get a break if their life depended on it. They could be up by 20 points and somehow find a way to lose the game. And that's just the way the Bears season is going. With the Commanders game, the Packers game, with the game last week. I mean, there's so many games the Bears should have won, and it's ridiculous. But they did not, and that's okay. But now they get to go to San Leclerc, and they get to take on the 49ers. And I think the Bears do have a really good chance. I do think the Bears could win this game. I think that they could, play some good defense. Maybe put some pressure on Brock Purdy and everything. But I'm still going to say the 49ers pick up the win somehow. It's going to be 24-21. The Bears, I want them to win so bad. But, again, you need to prove to me that you can win a game. And hopefully Thomas Brown is that guy to bring it out. And I hope the Bears demolish the 49ers. But I want to see it happen. Now, Sunday Night Football, guys, it's the game we're going live for on Sunday Night Football. It's Justin Herbert and Gus Edwards as they take on Patty Mahomes and Isaiah Pacheco in Kansas City. It's a divisional matchup. 2 teams that are in the playoffs as of right now. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see it go down. And can the Chiefs can the Chargers defeat Mahomes and the Chiefs? And maybe get a little bit of more confidence going into and continuing their road to the playoffs. I'm going to say, though, that the Chiefs win this by a score of 31-28, last-second field goal as the Chiefs win. And it's a good time for Kansas City as they party on the side. Now, on next Monday, I will be live for Monday Night Raw, live from Rocco's house, guys. Come and hang out as Tino and Rocco. I'm going to make Rocco come on the camera, and I don't care if he likes it or not. Me and Rocco are going to watch some Monday Night Raw, and we also are going to watch a special edition of Monday Night Football, as it's the Cincinnati Bengals, and it is the Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. But this just isn't any ordinary football game. We also got, if you guys remember last year, they had the Jaguars and the Falcons. They did it Toy Story style as we came here early for that game as it was in London. We watched it. We had a good time. Well, that is what's going to be going down on Monday. But this time, it's Homer Simpson. It's Bart Simpson. It's Lisa. It's Maggie. It's Marge. It's the Simpsons crew as they take over Monday Night Football. So go check out Disney Plus and go check out the Sim telecast of the Bengals and the Cowboys. But even with all of the shenanigans that's going to be going down on Monday night with all of that, I'm still going to say Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase win this game by a 45-20. And I think this might be the worst game of the week. Maybe. Cowboys did look good last week, but they also played the New York Giants. And I think a lot of teams look good against the Giants. So I'm going to say the Bengals win, like I said, 45-20. And Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase just have themselves one hell of a day. And now, this is the time where I go through, and I'm just going to go through the chat. If you guys got any questions, if you guys got any concerns, if you guys got anything you want to ask me, please write it in the comments. Please let me know. But if you are not joining us live, if you are watching this on delay, because it is a little bit earlier than usual, and it is a day earlier than we usually do this episode, then please write them in the comments and please let me know what you got for all of your thoughts. And I'm here to help you in any way I can. I guess they didn't need help this week, J-Dog. Let's go look at all of J-Dog's questions, though. BS call, you see the players didn't know that they had a timeout. Wait, what do you mean the players didn't know they didn't? How do you not know that you don't have a timeout? Man, I'm just that was a bad game. Yes. Yes, Dolphins and Jets, man. What happened to them? That Chiefs-Raiders game was good, but the fumble on Aiden and the center, yeah. Yeah, the Black Friday football was fun. I hope they do that more often. Colts still need to improve. Still need to improve. Not interested. Steelers did good. I just think Bengals are overrated. I mean, I definitely think they are. I just, I don't know. It's going to be weird to see them not in the playoffs this year, most likely, because they're probably not going to make it again. Or this year, I should say. Jets Seahawks was good. Yes, it was. It was really good. But Aaron Rodgers cannot find a way to win no matter how much his life depended on him. Yes, the player did get suspended 3 games for the hit on Trevor Lawrence. The Vikings shouldn't be in these games. I'm sorry, but Sam Darnold just was looking. I mean, listen, Sam Darnold, when you got Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, I mean, you should be able to be good. That was a statement win for the Commanders because of the Eagles. Yes, big facts. The fact that the Commanders are turning it around as fast as they have is crazy. Eagles do play Panthers. That's a sneaky game. That might be a trap game. Eagles Ravens. It was good, but I don't know, man. The Ravens either look like an unstoppable team or they look like they don't know what they're doing. That Bills game just proved that yes, Kyle Shanahan needs to go somewhere. I don't disagree with you on that. That Monday Night Football game was good. Probably. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. Not at all. I did tell you my top 5. I don't want to face the Commanders. Yeah, you probably don't want to face the Commanders. You got to think how the Chiefs been playing. I think the Chiefs being 4th is a good spot. Their defense is shaky, and that's not good. I mean, listen, I get that. I'm just saying based on the records and everything right now, that's what I'm going off of. And right now, they're the number 1 seed, and until somebody breaks them off, the Bills have the best opportunity. No comment on the waiver wire. It's boring. These players are basically practice squad. I mean, listen, J-Dog, you don't play fantasy football, so you would not know what sometimes, you need a practice squad guy to get the win, and sometimes that guy is like a Nick Westbrook, and he goes out there and scores a touchdown, and he's got 21 points, and you picked him up off the waiver wire, and you're like, hell yeah, what a good day this is to be, Just saying. Which Adam Thielen is the best Vikings Panthers? That's it. That's all he played for is the Vikings and the Panthers. He's been better on the Panthers, definitely. What? No, I guess not. I guess he'd probably been a bit. He probably was better on the Vikings because of who the quarterback is. I'm writing your picks. Thank you, J-Dog. 2 trash teams, Jets, Dolphins, fighting for a draft pick. They should do that. Whoever is the number 1 and 2 seed, they fight each other for the first pick. Like in a game, not like an actual fight. Texans versus Jaguars was for sure the worst divisional game this year. Yes. Any AFC North divisional games is always in the 4th. It really is. That division's wild. What's up, Hassan? Don't make fun of the Sims edition. Don't be making fun of the Sims edition at all. Do not be making fun of the Sims edition. Caleb said he didn't know. Caleb. Stop. I'm not speed rushing through them. I'm answering the questions. I ain't speeding through the chat. You got more questions? Leave the questions. I'll stay here as long as you got questions. I'm not speed through anything. I'm answering them. And then, yeah. Practice squad. See, you're just a bully. What's up, Rocco? How you doing, guy? I appreciate you stopping by here for a second. Rocco, J-Dog, so I'm not speeding through the chat. If I was speeding through the chat, I'd be like, okay, so Caleb said this. Stops from speeding through the chat. Practice squad. Tino, Hassan, hi. J-Dog, 2 trash teams. I'm writing your picks down. Which Adam Thielen is the best? No comments on the waiver wire. I answered every single one of these. I don't want to hear you and your nonsense. I read every single comment. JJ Dog, I'm going to yell at you. Anyway, that is all, though, that I have here for you guys here for the Fantasy Football Show for the week. As I said, guys, we will be here live this Sunday to watch the Chiefs and the Chargers on Sunday Night Football because Carrie Underwood, as she always likes to say, we've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Chargers, Chiefs, should be a good game. Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in that AFC divisional matchup. I do read the whole comments. But until next time, and until tonight when we go live and we come back here at 7 o'clock to watch NXT, as it's the Deadline Go Home show, everybody will be here live to see what goes down. We got the Last Chance Survivor match with Eddie Thorne, Lexus King, Axiom, and Cedric Alexander. We got Jada Parker. We got Cora Jade. We got Ren Sinclair. We got the women over there. We got Eric Bischoff. It's the last NXT before this Saturday at NXT Deadline. Come and hang out tonight at 7 o'clock as we go live. And then on Thursday, as I said, I got some doctor's appointments and stuff tomorrow. So we will not be live here tomorrow, but on Thursday, we'll be here back at 4 o'clock as we preview NXT Deadline, all the matches that will be going down. Who will be the last member in each Iron Survivor match? Will Ethan Page win? Will Stephanie win? Can Trick defend his title against Ridge Holland? We're going to find out on Saturday, but on Thursday, come and hang out as we preview the entire show. And then on Friday, it's Friday Night SmackDown. Come and hang out as we see Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. It's the fallout from War Games. Will we see the new U.S. champion? What's going to happen with Roman Reigns? It's going to be a good show. It's another Friday night here on Tino's Time. Saturday, we will be here NXT Deadline at 7 o'clock, 6:30. To be exact, we'll be here to watch the show. Minneapolis, it's NXT Deadline, 2 Iron Survivor matches, Ridge Holland and Trick Williams, and so much more. Come and hang out and watch the show. And then, as I said, Sunday Night Football, the Chargers and the Chiefs. And that is what we got going down here for this week on Tino's Time. And then next week, as the week goes on, I will let you know what we'll be doing here. We won't be live every day next week as I'll be traveling a lot, driving a lot. Me and Nala are going to be in the car a lot, but that's okay. We will be here for Raw and SmackDown for sure next week and Saturday night's main event. But other than that, I'm not too confident. I do want to do a football show, but it might be pre-recorded, and we'll figure that out. But obviously, I will let you guys know as the week goes on. But that's all I got here for you now today. And until next time, and until at 7 o'clock, I hope you guys all have a good one. What's up, Daniel? I appreciate you stopping by. And until next time, guys, go follow all the social medias. Go follow your boy Tino on Spotify at Tino's Time. Tino's Time Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook. Go follow the OTM guys. Go follow the Main Event Network crew. Go follow the Southside Boys 23 on Twitter and X and TikTok, all that good stuff. Make sure you hit that like button on this episode. You subscribe on the road to 3K as we are at 24, 38, 39. I appreciate you all joining the channel. Make sure you do all that, guys. And lastly, turn that notification button on so you know when we go live next, which will be tonight at 7 o'clock. J-Dog, you already know you're today's MVP. I appreciate you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon, and I'll see you tonight for NXT.